Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Understanding Behavior live stream. Tonight, we are going over a cool topic. We're going over shaping and chaining. Might take a different approach to how you've looked at these in the past. So, if you feel like you don't really know a whole lot, or that you feel like you only know the basics for this concept, well, you are in the right place because we are going to go over these in detail with some examples and even have some quizzing throughout here as well. So thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for all the kind words in chat too. I'm glad that these videos have been helpful for y'all. I'm glad that the studying is going well. We've got Kate testing next week, so good luck to Kate. I'm sure you're gonna nail it. And everybody else here, does anybody else have a test date coming up soon? Testing, super exciting. We've had a lot of understanding behavior students pass their exams recently, so looks like we've got a bunch of students passing soon, and hopefully you guys have the same outcome. Hopefully you guys are joining me in all of the different groups. So we have the Understanding Behavior Power Preppers group, where we do a few different study groups every week, led by our student leaders. We are also looking for a couple student leaders, not a ton, but maybe one or two. So if you feel like you want to get your hands a little bit dirtier with studying and get into prepping materials and leading a group and practice those leadership skills, which are 100% crucial for being a BCBA, feel free to reach out to me at understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com. And then, yeah, I'm sure you guys are familiar with all the awesome stuff on the Understanding Behavior shop, so I won't bore you with that. But we do have the Understanding Behavior Ultimate Mock Bundle. It's just $115 to get our mini mock package, which is all really thorough, tricky scenario questions, as well as a full mock, which is kind of balanced, similar to the real exam. And those are just $115. So definitely check out the Understanding Behavior shop if you're interested in that. And yeah, we're not going to waste too much of your time here. Let's get right into our presentation for shaping and chaining. All right, so here we go. So here's our agenda for today. First, we're going to start off by talking about a task analysis. There's actually quite a few definitions that you need to be familiar with in this topic, so we'll go over them. We'll then talk about behavior chains, and we'll talk about dual functioning stimuli and how they work in behavior chains. To demonstrate that, we are going to diagram a few behavior chains. And we're going to talk about the types of chaining procedures afterwards, including about when to choose each different chaining procedure. So that can be really helpful for questions. Then we'll do a little quiz after. When we finish with chaining, we'll move into shaping. We'll talk about shaping within topographies and shaping across topographies. We'll discuss the differences between the two and how to identify the two in different scenarios. And then we'll end with another quiz, because if you know me, active student responding is the #1 important skill to have and activity to participate in if you want to get good at the BCBA exam. So exciting presentation. Thank you all for being here. Usually we have a few likes on the video, but I'm seeing a really sad 0 likes on the video. So if you could make that number a little bit bigger, would brighten up my day a little bit. It also helps get more people here as well, so we can spread the love with the learning. Thanks for everybody who is going at that right now. Let's get right into it. I forgot to introduce myself, so if you don't know me, my name is Nick. I've been a BCBA for 7 years now. I've been teaching BCBA exam prep for 6 of those years, so I'm pretty good at this stuff and been doing it for a while. I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of students to get past their exam. So yeah, if you want to pass a BCBA exam, I think you're in the right place, and I'm happy to have you here. Okay, so we're going to start this off by talking about a task analysis. You guys are probably familiar with this term. So this is a breakdown of either complex behavior or sequences of behavior into its component elements or responses. So when we're looking at complex behavior, this is like a single response that has like multiple components to it. Think about like anything that's like really skillful, so maybe like painting or any like sporty activity. And those are going to be more applicable to shaping. And then we're looking at sequences of behaviors. That's more about talking about our behavior chains, and we'll use chaining to teach those kinds of behaviors. So a task analysis is just the breakdown of these skills into their different components. Let's next talk about a behavior chain. So this is one of those sequences of behaviors, and it's a little bit more than that when we actually break down the definition. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is a sequence of stimuli and responses. So we have stimulus, response. And each response produces a stimulus that serves as a reinforcer for the preceding response. So it kind of makes sense, like when the stimulus is provided as a consequence, it's going to reinforce that response. And then it serves as an SD or an operandum for the following response. So it's going to set up the next response in some way. An SD signaling the availability of that thing. Operandum might be a little bit less familiar definition. I believe we go over it here. This is the part of the environment that the organism manipulates. So if I'm looking at my behavior of drinking from my cup, then the cup itself is the operandum. It's the thing that I'm manipulating to engage in the behavior. If I don't have the operandum, then I can't engage in the behavior. All right, so that's a behavior chain. I know we're a little definition heavy today. So what we're looking at here is that in a behavior chain, each stimulus has this dual function. We'll call it a dual functioning stimulus. And we can see that it has the two different components there. So it's going to reinforce the previous response, so what it serves as a consequence for. And then it's going to serve as an antecedent that sets up the next response as either an SD or an operandum. Let's go through a basic example. So in this example, we're looking at a rat. He's got a little chain in his Skinner box that he has to pull down. And then what that does is that it turns on the light, and the light is an SD for him pressing the lever that results in food. So let's go ahead and, or I think we do water in this one, but it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and break down the behavior chain. So our first step is that he's going to pull the chain. The stimulus produced by that is that the light is going to turn on. Now let's look at step 2 of the chain. Now that the light is on, this signals that if he presses the lever, then he's going to hear the sound of that dipper. So this is, if you're not familiar with the Skinner box, the dipper is the mechanism that provides the water. So he's going to hear it go up, signaling that there's some water on there. So let's break down some of the components here. We first have this stimulus, light on. This is our first dual functioning stimulus. So let's break down. When we're looking at the behavior of pulling the chain, what does this stimulus serve as? Is it serving as a reinforcer, or is it serving as an SD? Let's see that in chat. What you guys got? So again, the question is in relation to pulling the chain. What does the light on serve as? Is it an SD or a reinforcer? And why? I love my rationales. It's a great way to enhance your answer and have it stick out. Most people saying SD. We've got a couple saying reinforcer. No rationales yet. Which one? Let's see some rationales. All right, Teresa's got a pretty convincing rationale there. Anybody else want to give this a go? Good. Yeah, Jocelyn, I like that. You can drop that question mark. Stay confident. I love your rationale. Good. Yeah, nice, Marjorie. Okay, let's go ahead and review. So when we look at pulling the chain produces the light being on. So this is going to reinforce pulling the chain. So the light on in this case is going to serve as the reinforcer for this behavior because it's serving as a consequence for that behavior. All right, now let's briefly look at what is this stimulus going to serve as for pressing the lever. Is it serving as an SD or a reinforcer? Yes, Ashley getting those light bulb moments. I love to see that. Now you guys are getting me excited. Like, my students are learning. That's the best. Awesome. Loving the answers here now. Good, 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 good. Great. Nice, Ashley. Good, Danielle. Good, Marjorie. Good, Tina T. Good to see you. Nice, Skylar. All right, very nice here, Chris. And this one is going to be an SD. So the light on signals that if he presses the lever, then he's going to hear the water dispenser go off. So it's serving as an SD for that behavior. All right, let's keep on going. So once he hears the little dipper, then he's going to approach the dipper and lick it, and then he receives his water. So let's look at our second dual functioning stimulus. When we look at the behavior of approaching the dipper, what does this stimulus serve as, hearing the dipper click? Is it serving as an SD or a reinforcer? Let's see that in chat. And rationale is encouraged, as always. Thanks so much to everybody who's liked the video so far. We're up to 16. That is much better. Love to see it. DJ Jazzy, I like you going for the rationale there. Careful, if we're looking at an SD, it has to be a stimulus and not a behavior. So just careful on that, but on the right track. Again, the question we're answering right now is that we're looking at the dipper click. We're talking about the different functions of it. We're looking at, in relation to the behavior of approaching the dipper, what does it serve as? Is it an SD or a reinforcer? Yeah, Teresa, on the right track. Yeah, Kate C, that looks great too. She's ready for her exam. Yeah, nice, Danielle. Perfect. Yeah, y'all are getting the hang of this now. Great, Deborah. Excellent, Amanda. Good to see you. Nice, Mindy. Teresa, you're on the right track. Okay, let's go ahead and review this. So we're looking at what does the dipper click serve as in relation to approaching the dipper. So this is going to be an SD that signals that approaching the dipper is going to result in water. So again, it's serving as when it's serving as an antecedent for the next behavior, it's going to be an SD or operandum. And when it follows the previous behavior, then that stimulus is going to serve as a reinforcer. So when we look at pressing the lever, then the dipper click is going to serve as the reinforcer because it's the consequence of that behavior. Now, one thing to highlight here as well is that this whole entire behavior chain occurred and the ultimate reinforcer was to get the water. So like the light on is only reinforcing because it's paired with these other reinforcers. So if the rat didn't want water, did not have an MO for water in place, then the rat wouldn't engage in any of these things, and none of these things would serve as reinforcers. So seeing the light on, that wouldn't be a reinforcer. Hearing the dipper click, that signals you can get water, like wouldn't be a reinforcer because there's no motivating operation in place. So whenever we look at a behavior chain, look at the ultimate reinforcer of that chain because it can be pretty important in like how you're going to teach the chain, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Okay, well, let's go ahead and we're going to break down this skill, sending an email. So we're going to do this on your phone. So let's go over the first couple steps here. The first step is that you're going to unlock your phone. The stimulus that is produced by that is that the phone is unlocked. Let's look at step 2. So you click the Gmail icon and now Gmail opens. Okay, let's go ahead and break down some of these things. So we're looking at, this stimulus, Gmail opening. What does it serve as for this behavior, clicking the Gmail icon? Is it an SD or a reinforcer? Yeah, Teresa's saying, love how I make things complicated. Yeah, I try to like bring complicated topics and then break them down in really simple ways is kind of like how I roll. If you've taken the mini mocks soon, you would know that those mini mocks do not mess around. They are very tough. What's really cool is that they're all scenario questions in there, and all of them are really gonna like make you think. There's no filler, just like definition questions. So, yeah, if you actually want to learn behavior analysis, you come to understanding behavior because I'm just really passionate about this and I want people to learn it, right? Because behavior analysis is really cool. All right, loving this. Yeah, so a lot of people saying reinforcer here, a couple saying SD, but it looks like the majority here saying reinforcer, and I would say that you guys are correct. So we were again looking at clicking the Gmail icon and the Gmail opening. So this stimulus is produced by this behavior, so it's going to reinforce this response. Good. All right, how about your phone being unlocked? How does that affect clicking the Gmail icon? Is that an SD or a reinforcer? Awesome. Good, good, good. Okay, so yeah, that's looking great, everyone. This one is going to be an SD. So I don't even have my phone on me. Usually I have it to demonstrate. But if I had my phone and it's like I click where the Gmail icon, but it's like not on or it's not unlocked, then this reinforcer is not produced. So when my phone is unlocked and I click where that Gmail icon is, that does open up my Gmail, and that's sweet because that's what we want. Yeah, that looks great. Let's look at the other steps of this behavior chain. So once Gmail opens, you're going to hit compose and write your email. So notice like in this task analysis, you're like some of these steps are kind of combined. So like this is hit compose and write the email. Like that's kind of a longer behavior. Like that behavior might take a minute or so depending on how long this email is. So just kind of note like you're going to break down your skill and however it's necessary. So you can just say hit compose and write the email. Some people that's enough instruction, but some people might want further instruction, like what should be in this email. Like start with an introduction and kind of like have the meat of the email and then have like some kind of closing at the end. So they might need those kind of steps if and what you really want to do is just tailor it to your learner. So break down the skill in however many steps is necessary for your learner to learn them well. All right, so looking at this, we hit compose and wrote the email, and then the email was ready for sending. And then I guess on a phone, you wouldn't hit control enter, but you would hit the send button, and then the email would be sent. So what was the terminal reinforcer for this behavior chain? What do you guys think? What was the terminal reinforcer for this behavior chain? Yeah, Lily makes a good point. It makes her think of like tying shoes or washing hands and like teaching that to kids. And like you never think they're complex until you actually do it. And yeah, especially tying shoes, like it's super complex. I'm really against shoe tying for like teaching our kids to tie their shoes. Like especially like if they already struggle with fine motor skills, I'm like just get the kids some Velcro shoes. Like we don't need to waste our time. I remember like as in like my first or second year VCVA, like that was a program that I inherited from a client, and like we worked on it for a little bit, and then I'm just like, why? Like, what's the point? Let's just get them different shoes. Yeah, shoe tying. Let it for the OTs. They have way better techniques for teaching that too. Yeah, slip-ons all day. I wear dad sandals all day, every day. Like even in the winter, I have like my dad Velcro sandals. All right. Yeah, looks great here, everyone. So sending the email was the terminal reinforcer. So think about like if I don't have a motivating operation, like if I don't have an email that I like should send out, then I'm not going to engage in this behavior chain at all. So the terminal reinforcer is the most important. Like Gmail is not a reinforcer if like I don't need to send an email or if there's not like a cool email in there. All right, looks really great. So really like main thing I want to hit on here is that dual functioning stimulus. So if a stimulus follows a behavior, it's going to be a reinforcer for that behavior. And if it precedes a behavior, serves as an antecedent, then it's going to be an SD or operandum for the behavior. And those are the two functions. Well, I'm loving the energy tonight in stream. You guys are awesome, and I love all the participation, and I love just like all like the friendliness and supporting going on too. I love seeing students prop each other up. So why don't we give away a copy of the Beat the Beast mock exam, $40 value. We'll give it to somebody here in chat, and if you want to participate, just make sure that you're actually going to use the attempt for yourself. And you are good to go, so don't like hand it off to a friend. What we'll do is we'll do a random 1 to 500. So if you'd like to participate, choose a number in the chat. We'll pull this number live, and whoever is closest will win the mock exam. So throw a number 1 to 500 in the chat. Let's see what y'all got. Yeah, so Rihanna's asking, what's the difference between a behavior chain and a task analysis? So behavior chain is like the sequence of behavior. So it's like sending an email. The task analysis is the breakdown of that. So first unlock your phone, then open Gmail, then write the email, all that. So that'd be the task analysis. All right, like so we have about 20 of y'all here. Anybody else want to participate? Last call. You can also like the video real quick while you're here. All right, Daniel, actually Marjorie is going to be our last participant here. Let's choose our number, 374. Oh, Brianna Moyer is at 375. I don't think anybody got closer to that. So yeah, I think Rihanna Moyer, congratulations. You are just one off here. And you just won a copy of the Beat the Beast mock exam from Understanding Behavior. Dun, dun, dun. Awesome. And if you would like to get your own copy, then you can purchase that at that link. It's a great mock exam. A lot of students have been saying it's very realistic. What's also really nice is that it has a scoring scale. So if you get 80% or higher, you will pass the exam. Guaranteed, we have 100% pass rate for students scoring 80% or higher on their first attempt. And lots of students still pass the exam around like the 70 mark. We've seen some below 70 still pass. So it's really great to show you kind of where you're at as well. So congratulations to Rihanna. That is awesome. So yeah, Rihanna, to claim it, just send me an email at understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com after the stream, and I will hook you up. Congratulations. Keep up the energy here. We might go over some more stuff. We'll see. All right, let's keep on trucking along. So let's talk about behavior chain versus chaining. So we talked about the task analysis is that breakdown of the of the behavior chain. The behavior chain is just like the sequence of behaviors. And we might just call it like by the name. So if like cooking mac and cheese, that would be a behavior chain. The task analysis, again, would be the breakdown of those steps. So it'd be like to cook mac and cheese, first turn the burner on, then put on some hot water in the kettle and all that jazz. We're talking about chaining. This is going to be the method of teaching a behavior chain. So this is going to be like our forward chaining, our backward chaining, and our total task chaining. Let's go over our different techniques for teaching a behavior chain. So in backwards chaining, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of like set up the individual so they only have to complete the last step of the behavior chain first. And then in later steps, then we're going to add in previous steps until we get to the beginning step and that whole behavior chain has been accomplished independently. So backwards chaining is really nice is because you can because they get that terminal reinforcer right at the end of every trial. Because when we're looking at like our previous behavior chains, the terminal reinforcer is the most important, and when that's relevant, backwards chaining can be a really nice strategy to kind of increase the amount of reinforcement that's occurring on each learning opportunity. We also have a variation of backwards chaining. So this is backwards chaining with leaps. This is the same thing, but you skip over some known steps. So let's say like they already know how to do step 4, but they don't know how to do any other steps here. Then first you would teach them step 5 independently. And then on the next phase, you would skip the phase where we work on step 4, and you would skip to this phase and work on 3, 4, and 5 since they already know how to do step 4. So that's backwards with leaps. It's a very small variation. It's not really like a huge changing thing. Lillian is asking a good question with this. Are you prompting steps 1 to 4 and then teaching step 5? So this can be done in multiple ways. You could either prompt them through the previous steps, just provide like the least restrictive necessary prompt to do that. Or you could also just kind of set them up. So, like, for example, if you're doing, like, the shoe tying for some reason, which you shouldn't, Nick recommends F-, no. If you were doing it, you might just hand off at the last step and just have them, like, do the final, like, pull and complete the bow. So you're not necessarily prompting them. You're kind of just handing it off so they only have to do the last step. Yeah, Amanda's saying this is how she teaches her kiddos their parents' phone numbers. That's a good one. I love backwards chaining for that. Let's see. Last time I said that in the group that Cooper said differently, so I thought I'd ask. Yeah. So it could be either way for that. Let's talk about pros and cons of each of these. So again, the biggest pro of this is that they contact that naturalistic or terminal reinforcer on every trial because they're always completing the chain and getting that natural reinforcer. So think about like when you're dealing with behavior chains that have a good reinforcer at the end, then you might want to do backwards chaining so they contact that. Lots of repetition of components before moving on. So both forwards and backwards chaining, like we're going to focus on one new step at a time. There's lots of repetition of that new step before we move to the next step, and like we ensure mastering it before making the chain more complex. Some cons of it. So since we're spending so much time in teaching every step of the behavior chain, it was a little bit slower. With leaps can speed that up a little bit, but it's really, you can only leap over the steps that they know or will acquire in like a trial or two. And then like mastery on each phase is required. So like they need to master step 5 before they can move to this second phase where they do steps 4 and 5. All right, so that is our backwards chaining. We've got our pros and cons there. Let's talk a little bit about forward chaining now. So this is just the opposite, but very similar. So we're going to teach one step at a time. So we're teaching the first link now, and then we're adding in successive links until the last link is taught. So we're going to start them off with just step 1. Then once they master step 1, we'll have them do steps 1 and 2. They practice this for a while, and then we'll move on to our next phase where they do steps 1, 2, and 3. We'll do that until the entire behavior chain is taught. pros and cons here. So what's nice is that like the learner contacts like the initial behaviors and like starting conditions immediately. So like they're starting at the beginning of the chain. That also kind of makes the starting SD a little bit more salient. So like since they're starting at the beginning, they have like the conditions that are at the beginning for every trial, where if you looked at the backwards chaining arrangement, the beginning is changing on every phase, where the beginning is staying the same on every phase for our forward chaining. You can use this when clients cannot do many components of the skill. Kind of same with our backwards chaining, because it teaches a little bit more in an intensive manner. And I would use this for behaviors where contact with that terminal reinforcer is less important, because they're not going to contact that terminal reinforcer until the final phase. So like quick example of that, if we're teaching if you're looking at like two different behavior chains, like we'd say we have like doing laundry and making a sandwich, I would be more likely to use backwards chaining with making a sandwich and more likely to use forward chaining with doing laundry, because the terminal reinforcer for doing laundry, especially like most teenagers, like isn't that cool? Like clean laundry, whatever. So it's not as important, so we can use forward chaining to kind of like make things easier sometimes. Some cons of this. So again, you delay that contacting of the naturalistic reinforcer. And similar to backwards chaining, it is a little bit slower because we need to spend lots of focus on each step before we're able to move on in our process. All right, how y'all feeling? Have you guys ever like taught any behavior chains with your clients? I'm curious, like what other examples have you guys used to teach behavior chains with your clients? I see a lot of phone numbers. That's a good one. Great safety skill. We got making the bed. Could be a good one for sure. Puzzles. Okay, I can see that. Puzzles backwards chaining. I'm liking it. Ashley did some hand washing. Cool. Skylar too. So yeah, Naomi's asking a good question. When you're teaching the links, do you provide reinforcement after following the tough step or after completing the whole step? So I would kind of like differentially reinforce. Like if a step is really tough and they nail it, like provide like good reinforcement for that. And then you would want to provide additional reinforcement for completing the chain, or even like completing like up to their criteria. The prompting and reinforcement, that can vary. So it's not like each of these procedures, like it's not like you have to do this style of prompting. It's very flexible depending on the skill and the client you're working with. Cool, yeah, a lot of people doing hand washing. Amanda did some laundry, some toileting, homework, good. Yeah, some toilet training stuff, good. Making sandwiches, quesadillas. Awesome. Yeah, Lillian's saying like usually give verbal specific praise and then a bigger reinforcer at the end of the chain. Usually that works, especially if like they're attention sensitive. Like usually that praise or attention can be enough to bring them through. And also like there's, again, with behavior chains, there's natural reinforcers built out too. So you don't always need to like praise every step. It's good to kind of like let the natural reinforcers take over too. All right, looking good. Let's talk a little bit about total task chaining, and I believe there is a quiz after that. So in total task chaining, we are going to teach all of the links of a behavioral chain in every trial. So every trial, we're teaching every step. Some advantages of this is that the learner will contact the initial behaviors immediately. So that's same advantage from forward chaining. The starting SD is more salient, similar to forward chaining. Think about total task chaining is like it teaches easy skills quickly. So you want to use this for skills that they already know a few components of it, or there's the skills will be easily acquired. So like if you're teaching somebody like how to make mac and cheese, but they like already know how to make quesadillas and chicken nuggets and a couple other things, then total task would be great for that, because like how much are they really going to need to practice like opening the box or like pouring the cheese in, or like it's probably going to be acquired fairly quickly. Some cons of total task training. So again, it doesn't require mastery of any step to complete the chain. So some components can get a little bit sloppy. Like sometimes when you're doing total task, there's like one step that's really difficult for the learner, and that step can like always remain sloppy. So sometimes what you can do is just like teach that step in isolation and then go back to total task. But this is one risk of total task that sometimes like a step or two gets kind of sloppy. Also note with total task, I meant to put it on here, is that they also contact the naturalistic reinforcer. So like similar to backwards chaining. So it kind of has some of the same advantages from forward and backward. It's just not as intensive of a teaching procedure. Cool. We have a question with total task training. Does it have to be in the client's repertoire? Nope, not necessarily. It helps like if like they already know how to do like something similar to it, or if they have some of the steps down, but not necessary. Cool. Looks good. Alrighty. Let's go over some review questions. So, first of all, what are the two functions of stimuli produced in a behavioral chain? And if you can talk about which responses they serve as those functions, that would be even cooler. Anybody remember? All right, cool. I got a few answers here. Let's see some confidence, though. We've got too many question marks. We got to take those question marks out. Anybody want to try like which behaviors they serve as those two things for? We're seeing some good answers. Excellent. Looking good. Stimulus, stimuli. Stimuli is just plural stimulus. Don't be scared of that word. Yeah, I think it's Sente. Am I saying that right? Sente Pablo. That looks great. You nailed that. Again, the bonus question is, which responses do these two stimuli serve as those functions for? Sorry, I didn't say that great. Which behaviors does the stimulus serve each function for? Close, DJ Jazzy. I like your attempt there. Lillian looks decent. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this. So the two functions here is that it's going to serve as a reinforcer for the previous response, so the response that produces it, and then it's going to serve as an SD or an operandum for the next response. So it's going to set up the following response is what we're looking for here. A couple of people got it. I think Sente Pablo was absolutely nailed it there. Good, good. We have another question. Is this another way to say a chain schedule of reinforcement? So you would say that all behavior chains are chain schedules, but not all chain schedules are behavior chains, if that makes sense. So again, all behavior chains are chain schedules. Not all chain schedules are behavior chains. Okay, let's take our next question. What is the con that applies to both forwards and backwards chaining procedures? See if you guys were listening. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to run to the restroom real fast. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm here. Sweet. I'd love to come back to a plethora of amazing answers. Looks great. Nice Lynch, Sente. Good. Yeah, nice Matt. Good, Amanda. Love it, Lillian. Awesome, awesome. These look great, everyone. I love the detail in the answers too. Good. Yeah, Marjorie nailed it there. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So yeah, main ones is that they're going to teach the chain slowly, and it requires mastery of each step before moving on. So it's a little bit slower. Yes, thank you, Sente Pablo. Excellent. I'm glad I'm getting it right. All right. Let's talk about, we've got another weird question here. How is chaining different from a task analysis? Somebody asked this question, I think, straight up earlier. So let's see what our students come up with. All right, yeah, Amanda, I kind of like where you're going there. You can drop that question mark off. Let's see some confidence in your rationales. Drop these question marks off the end. The whole point of rationales is to be confident in your answer. Like, you know the reason why and you're explaining it. You got it. If you keep putting question marks on your answers, that's how you get into that rhythm of second guessing yourself on the actual exam. So I'm going to encourage you, if you put a question mark after your answer, to stop that. That's bad. Get that confidence here. Let's check out some of our answers. I'm loving where people are going. Yeah, Deborah absolutely nailed it. So she has task analysis, shows you step by step what to do. Chaining is more like teaching those steps in a behavior chain. Yeah, that is great. Let's look at a couple more here. DJ Jazzy, task analysis is steps for the behavior, and chaining is for the behavior itself. Close. So chaining would be the method of teaching the behavior once again. So the behavior chain is just the behavior. All right, let's see what else we got. Chaining is the method a behavior chain is taught, using a task analysis to break down the steps in the chain. 10 out of 10. Looks excellent, Lillian. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Rihanna asked it earlier. Let's see what she's got. She got a task analysis, the teaching procedure, and the breakdown, and a behavior chain is the behavior. Close. So task analysis is the breakdown. Chaining is the teaching procedure. Really close, Rihanna. Almost there. What's we got? We got Nerlis. Let's check that out. Task A are the steps needed to perform the chain, and chaining is the process of the behavior occurring. Close. So again, chaining is that method of teaching the behavior. So let's check out our definitions here. Thanks everybody for providing those. Those look great. Sorry I couldn't get to all of them. So chaining, again, is the procedure to teach a behavior chain. Task analysis is the breakdown of the behavior chain, and a behavior chain is just the behavior. So to give a quick example, making mac and cheese is the behavior chain. The task analysis would be, first you got to fill a pot with water, then you turn the burner on, then you put it on, and then you wait for it to boil, then all that jazz. So that'd be the task analysis. And then the chaining procedure would be how we're going to teach it. So we might use total task chaining to teach that behavior, and just kind of like run them through each step until they get the whole chain down. All right, looks good. Hopefully that is getting there. And I think this is our last question for chaining. Describe the total task training process. Quick one here. I know some people get hung up on AKAs a lot, so if you see total task chaining or total task training, those are the same thing. Don't worry about it. Cool. I'm liking where the answers are going. Good Naomi, DJ Jazzy, Christina. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. Yeah. Good Nat. Yeah. Amanda, very well put. Both Amandas, very well put. Good. Yeah, Skylar, that looks great. Yeah, Tracy on the right track. Good. Yeah, sweet. I love it. There's no question marks in any of these answers here. That is amazing. Love to see the confidence. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to practice every step of the chain on every trial. So we're going to run through every step, every trial. Perfect. All right, we got a question. Using total task chaining, would the client attempt to complete the steps independently? And if they don't know how to do it, then we jump in and do it for them. So again, the prompting procedures, it really depends. But it's going to be so client specific. Like if we did the mac and cheese, like maybe the skill that we're doing is like reading the instructions and then cooking. So maybe we're not prompting at all. But maybe it's like, this is like the first thing they've ever cooked using a burner. So like, yeah, we're going to provide some prompts along the way. So always tailor it to the skill and the individual. There aren't clear rules here. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about shaping, and then we got some review questions at the end. So shaping is the use of differential reinforcement on behaviors in the same response class that more closely resemble the terminal behavior. So let's break this definition down. We've got, we're using differential reinforcement behaviors in the same response class, so we're like shaping up the same behavior, and that more closely resembles our terminal behavior, so like our goal behavior. Differential reinforcement, it has two different components in it. So it has a reinforcement and an extinction component. This could also be reinforcement or less reinforcement. That does work as well. And sometimes it is more effective than using pure extinction. All right, we've got two different types of shaping. So we have shaping within topographies, and then we have shaping across topographies. Let's go ahead and talk about the difference between these. When we're doing shaping within topographies, this is going to be differential reinforcement of our particular response dimension. So really focus on this word here, or this phrase, response dimension of a behavior. Let's go through like what are some examples of response dimensions. So I have our first one here, frequency or rate. But what are some other examples of response dimensions, or like ways that we can measure behavior? One other thing I want to point out about shaping is that you're going to take whatever behavior is currently in the client's repertoire that closely resembles their behaviors, or like the ultimate behavior. So let's say like if you were to take me like ballet dancing, like I'm so uncoordinated. I'm like I have like no idea what I would be doing. Then you would start with like whatever behaviors that I have in my repertoire, so like my silly dancing, I don't know, and try to shape those into the ballet dancing. So you kind of like work with whatever you're starting with, and then that resembles the terminal behavior, and then try to shape it up. We've got some great ones here. So yeah, we've got magnitude, latency, duration, force. Yeah, IRT, latency, great. Yeah, I think you guys got my whole list here. Whenever you're trying to differentiate these two, it's helpful to look at, okay, is one response dimension of the behavior changing? And if it's only, we're looking at one response dimension, then it's probably going to be shaping within topographies. That is going to be the answer. Let's talk about shaping across topographies now. So again, yeah, within topographies, same topography, and we're just shaping one of these response dimensions. It should be same, but I don't know what happened to the S. Okay, shaping across topographies, this is going to teach a new complex response. So I'm trying to like work with what's currently in the repertoire and shape it into something new. So like I've never been ballet dancing before. So an instructor would try to shape up my movements to kind of fall in line with what ballet dancing looks like. When we hear this word across, we want to think a new topography. So across, we're switching it to a different topography. Within, again, we're talking with the same topography, but we're just changing a response dimension of it. Here are some examples. So any kind of sporty action kind of fits into this. And to kind of like even broaden that response class a little bit, this is going to be like things that where like multiple response dimensions align at once. Again, this is also going to be any new topography. So if you're kind of like working with what they have and we're teaching something new, that does fit under here as well. So this could be in the change of the topography of the behavior, again, just like trying to change it into something totally different. And like one thing to highlight there is that it's not necessarily a sequence of behaviors. It's kind of like more of like a bunch of things need to all be done together. Cool. Okay. So yeah, looks like a couple of people are talking about like crawling and walking in babies. So if we look at like crawling, if we're just looking at like increasing like the speed of them crawling, then this would be shaping within topographies. But if we're looking at like how they're crawling as shapes into like eventually bipedal walking, then that would be more like shaping across topographies because the behavior is changing over time. And it's being naturally reinforced because they're probably moving faster when they're walking than when they're crawling. So kind of, again, you really need to tease apart your examples. What is actually changing across the shaping process to determine what kind of shaping is going on. All right. Let's go through some examples. And I believe there are a few questions at the end of this that we'll review. So first one here is like you hit your door kind of hard. This is like if your door is frozen shut, and then small amounts of ice come out. If you hit your door very hard, then lots of ice comes out. So we see that differential reinforcement here is kind of like more reinforcement and less reinforcement. What do you guys think? Would this be an example of shaping within or shaping across topographies? Good, good. Yeah, I'm loving the answers. Gabby even had a great backup there. Tina T as well. Good. Nice, Stephanie. Good, Teresa. Yeah, and when we're doing shaping within topographies, it's really helpful to identify which response dimension is being shaped. So in this one, we see forceful responding being shaped up. More reinforcement here, less reinforcement here. This one is going to be shaping within topographies. This one is another shaping within topography, so let's check it out. We talk quietly, you don't get acknowledgement, but if you talk louder, then you get acknowledgement. So kind of a naturalistic one as well. Like if you don't talk loudly, then people literally might not hear you and they might not acknowledge what you said. But if you do talk louder, then that reinforcer will be provided, and that's kind of shaped naturally. Cool, cool. Let's check out this next one. So hit golf ball with poor form, the ball goes in an undesired place. If you hit the golf ball with good form, then the ball goes to a desired place. What would you think about this one, shaping within or across? Sweet, sweet, sweet. Yeah, Skylar with the rationale. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right, we're a little tricky on this one. Most saying across. We got a few people saying within. The rationales always help. I see that the rationale people are getting it right. If that says anything, Josie killing it. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. So this one is going to be across our topography. So this is one, the behavior is actually changing over time. So the topography or the form of the behavior is changing within the shaping process, and it gets you a better outcome. Here's another one that would also be our shaping across topographies. Like I gave up caffeine recently, but I used to drink a lot of coffee, and I like to go to like the fancy coffee shops because like a really like dank espresso is awesome. I don't really know the secret to it, the art of being a barista-ship, but I know like some baristas just like pack their espresso the right way, and it brings a better espresso. But if they just pack their espresso the wrong way, then it gets worse espresso. I don't know the secrets. I'm not a barista, but I know a couple of baristas like in Denver that are just like work their magic. So this one would also be shaping across topographies because it's changing that form of the behavior. Yeah, it could not be a BC ABA without caffeine. That's why I don't do clinical anymore. All right. Let's look at one more example of shaping across topographies. So this one is going to be starting with, we're trying to teach the word saying bubbles. So we start with what's in the repertoire. Let's say they're saying ba. And then we are going to blow the bubbles. Once this behavior is occurring at a pretty high rate, then what we'll do is we'll kind of change our criteria. So now if they say ba, they're not going to get bubbles, but if they say ba ba, then they will get bubbles. So we're kind of like increasing that response requirement, and that's differential reinforcement is going to help out a ton there. For sure. Thanks for coming, Lillian. Hope to see you next time. This would be the next step there. And then once they start saying ba ba at a very high frequency, and let's say like they say like bubble once, then we're probably gonna like start weaning off the reinforcement a little bit for ba ba, and then if they say bubble, then we're gonna like provide lots of reinforcement for that. So this one, yes, you guys are getting it here, is that this one is shaping across our topographies because we see that topography of the behavior changing over time. And I just wanted to include this example to kind of show you that step-by-step process rather than like a single-step process of shaping with it across topographies. All right, let's check out some questions. First one here, BCBA is preparing to teach Daniel to make a PB&J sandwich. And considering what procedure to use, the BCBA considers the following factors. It'll be a brand new skill for Daniel. He is highly motivated, and his best outcomes result from immediate contact with reinforcement and building a pattern of success. Which procedure would likely meet Daniel's needs best? Hand washing is a sequence of behaviors. It's a behavior chain. All right, loving the answers and rationale so far. Looking good. Yeah, Kate's on the right track. Amanda R, looking good too. Good, you nice, Skylar. Yeah, Tina, I like it. Good. All right, let's review this one. Excellent job here, crew. Best answer is going to be C, backwards chaining. So let's look at some of the details that lead us to that. He's highly food motivated, and we're teaching how to make a sandwich. So the reinforcer is very powerful. So we'd probably want to use total task or backwards chaining. We are also seeing that it's a brand new skill for him, and it seems like new skill in like self-feeding or food preparation. So we're probably going to want a little bit more intensive training there. So backwards is going to be a little bit better than our total task chaining. Alrighty. We're like a little past time, and I have to get going soon. So let's do one more, and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. Thanks everybody for being here. Check this one out. Kendall, a 10-year-old with autism, is learning to greet others appropriately. His BCBA Miss Patel starts by reinforcing him for making any verbal response when someone says hello to him. Over time, she begins to reinforce only clearer and more precise greetings like hi or hello. What technique is Miss Patel using to enhance Kendall's greeting skills? Looking good, crew. Awesome. Yeah, I'm loving the rationales here too. Josie looks great. Matt R looks great. All right. Excellent. Excellent. So best answer for this one is going to be B, shaping across our topographies. This was because that there are new topographies that are coming out, but it's still a single behavior. So we're looking at different greetings instead of just saying hello every time. We want to vary up that greeting a little bit. So we're changing the topography of greeting over time. So this is going to be shaping across our topographies. Oh. Our old templates, they just don't look nearly as pretty as our new ones. I mean, what do you guys think? Anyway, if you want to see more questions, there are some on Instagram. I believe we did a couple, we did one today and yesterday on this topic as well. So if you want a little bit more practice, you can go ahead and check those out there. Let me give you the link for the Instagram real quick. Final, just parting notes here. Hopefully you guys love this session. Yeah, great. Loved all the feedback. Thank you guys so much. Check out the Understanding Behavior shop if you want to get some really high quality mock exams. Again, you can buy the Ultimate Mock Bundle, which includes the mini mock package with super thorough scenario questions over each section, and then a full mock exam with the Beat the Beast that gives you a good indicator about how well you're going to do on the exam, and it's just $115 on the Understanding Behavior shop. Other places, I won't say I mention any names, but just their mini mock packages are $150, so this is cheaper, and you get a full mock on top of it. I think it's a pretty good deal. Sweet, I'm glad everybody's been enjoying the session. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Good luck on the mocks, and yeah, thanks for everybody who's been supporting the channel so far. We'll be back next week with another awesome stream. Hopefully we'll get a new topic in soon too. I forget what we're doing. We'll see what's going on next week, but we'll have some fun stuff planned. So hope to see you guys there, and have a great night and a great weekend as well. Take care, everyone.